Faders of the Lost Art.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Faders of the Lost Art. I'm here joined by my amazing co-hosts, Ken Lewis, Bob Horn, Fareed Salama. I'm Nico Hamui, and we have an amazing episode lined up for you here today. We've got a lot of news on the horizon about new plugins, just stuff going on in the industry, stuff we've been working on, a lot of cool stuff, a lot of AI, a lot of not so AI. So definitely quick shout out to our sponsors, Avid, Arturia, Cloud Mics, Dutch and Dutch, Eventide, Isotope, Leapwing, MkII, Native Instruments, Plugin Alliance, Mixing Night Audio, Ken, woo woo, Atmos Studio, which is also Ken's amazing Atmos Studio, Whole Grain DS, Steven Slate, Sonarworks, Sound Toys, United Plugins, and many more we can't even name. I'm not going to sit here and go on, but thank you guys so much for making the amazing tools that we need to use to make our lives easier and make amazing music every single day. So definitely start by giving a big shout out to all y'all folks out there in the plugin world, in the hardware world, all that. Anyone got new hardware, new plugin? Talk to me. Tell me about the goodies. Tell me about the new
Talk to
tones.
me. What's the word?
Talk to me.
New hardware, the Bettermaker Mastering Limiter 2.0.
Oh, dude, I saw you posted.
Nice.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
that shit is fire.
Yeah, Mark
Very
is
nice.
a genius, dude. Mastering Limiter 2.0. So what's new?
Well, I got the 1.0 as well, so it's got a low pass sidechain filter, which is super convenient, helps it work a lot less hard.
That's nice.
And it's got a clipper,
Ooh.
and the plugin is just a little bit updated. But
Nice.
the big new one was the Wolff Audio Propatch, which is the only way I can get my analog back into my DAW now. That thing is amazing.
So you loving it?
Dude, when you were telling me about it, I was like, all right, I got to get this shit. And then now I
Yeah.
have it. It's
Oh,
so
awesome.
easy to use and just, yeah, I'm loving it. I did my whole mixing night this week on Wednesday was surrounding analog gear. And
Yeah.
that orange thing right there is a Propatch. So all of my analog gear is plugged into the Propatch and then routed into Pro Tools from that. It's been
Game
such
changer.
a nice upgrade.
Question
That's great.
for those who don't have the Propatch yet. How so? Is it also like software based? Is there a software
Yes.
part that you do all the
So
routing?
the Patchbay connects USB to your computer, and then you have software that controls it. But your audio's it's all analog, and it's the purest analog. It's all relays. There's no PCB boards or any components that your audio's running through. So it's literally like taking two XLRs and connecting them together. It's like that clean. When I switched from my old Patchbay to this Patchbay, my mixes that I pulled up that were old mixes literally got a half dB louder.
What?
That's nuts,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah, it's that clean, and it's just 3,000 relays in this model. This is the 128, and they have a bunch of different sizes now. They have the bigger one is 200 points. They have all the way down to I think 32 might be their
And
smallest, but
it's usually the other way around. Like when you pull up an old mix, sometimes you gotta you're like, oh, it doesn't quite sound the same. I gotta chase down that plugin and stuff like that. So if you pull up an old mix and you're like, yo, this is,
yeah, but
you
it's
can
it's
ignore
just
that out of date plugin and because it's just killing the game regardless.
yeah. Like I
Yeah,
don't
I
have a
just
track.
love.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh no, I just love the ability to A/B different chains on the fly and
Yeah.
like different pieces of gear within a chain and just see like which is the right one, which is the right order of operations that actually sounds the best. And it's seamless. There's no hiccup at all. There's no audio delay. It's just you can like if I have a compressor and an EQ and I want to see which one sounds better first, I can literally just drag it in the software and drop it and it switches position. I can hear it and I can drag it again and I can hear the other way. There's no like half second hiccup that I'm guessing it, which one is the best one. And like I was just doing it the other day, and usually I always just assume that the compressor should come before the EQ, but I was listening to it on a vocal the other day, and I was like, Nope. This time the EQ goes first, and
Well, in the old school world of old Patchbays, we wouldn't even try that because I did
no.
a demo where I did a stereo bus compressor EQ, and then I just I didn't even show the audio. I'm showing the patch process. So I patched that patch. That took about 10 seconds. And then I say, well, now let's compare the opposite order. I had to unpatch it, patch it back in. That we just don't do that. We're just going to accept the first way, that we plugged it in and go with it. That's what people have always done, And man, setups, like if I want to record a vocal and I have a full mix going with lots of outboard gear, one button I can select and it's set up for my mix with the headphones patched, all the right outputs, the right mic, and I have a selection of 2 mic pre's and 5 compressors to choose from. I just pop them in. It's literally as fast, maybe even faster than dealing with plugins. So to be able to have that flexibility, yeah, it's crazy. And you can make chains, you can make all kinds of stuff. Like I had an A/B switch for my 2 interfaces, like between my Hilo and my Aurora. So when I was bringing the mix back into the digital world, I could check what's better, the Hilo or the Aurora. Bam, 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 bam.
Speaking
It's
on
like,
interfaces, I mean, maybe we can talk about this whenever you guys want to, but I definitely at some point want to talk about like what
yeah,
are some of your favorite interfaces, which ones you guys prefer, what people say the Burl has a real colorful sound or fat sound, and then the Prism's cleaner, and stuff like that. What do you got? What's your takes?
yeah. The Prism's a window. It's like the most pure window on the planet. It's like you're not if you don't want an interface to have a sound, you go for the Prism. But you're
But
gonna
how would you how would you persuade somebody to buy a high end converter? What would you tell them? Like, how would you explain it to them? Like, yo, this is needed. This is necessary for your sound or for your studio. What's
it's
the
It's
best?
like focusing a
it's
lens. Like you could
yeah,
equate it to a camera, and having a lens just be slightly, ever so
4K.
slightly out of focus is like a normal interface. And then a prism, you just go like that, and everything just gets really crisp and clear and deep, and the detail is just better.
That's perfect.
Insane.
That's perfect. And then you got to realize that every interface, if you don't clock it externally, it has a clock. And clocks, they correct jitter. They just kind of line things up to where it's like really clean. And they
Right.
all have different tones. Like I could never have a Burl as my multi-channel interface. I could get a Burl for like 2 channels and use it on certain songs, but it's so colorful. I don't want that color on every song, but yet
Right.
a heavy metal or hard rock guy might want that B2 Burl sound every time. So I get that, but when you don't want it, it's a little heavy handed. So like I have the Aurora in, and before this I had the Apogee Symphony Mark II, and before that I had the old school Apogees, the purple and silver ones. So they're all little different flavors.
Yeah, I gotta give a shout out to Audient. Their Oria 2 is I just put one in my Studio B for 916 Atmos. Actually, I'm running 914 Atmos in both rooms, but I've got the Matrix Studio running my Atmos in A, and I just didn't want to fucking spend that much money for another full Atmos rig in Studio B to do the same thing. And I was researching different interfaces, and the Oria for the price point is like less than half of the Matrix Studio, and
Isn't
does
it like
full nine. Yeah, it does full
three?
916, 24-bit 96K.
Yeah.
Although Atmos is only 48K, but I use it for stereo down there as well. But whenever I
And
have
it,
both things going, it's a
am
lifesaver.
I correct to say it does everything you need for Atmos, like the speaker adjustments? Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's actually one of the strengths of it. It's super easy to
yeah.
calibrate, and I think you can solo different groups of speakers, or pairs of speakers, and yeah, it's all like software based, so you can software control it from mix position without having to reach back and touch it, and you can solo different speaker groups if you need to. The speaker calibration, the speaker calibration process with it is super easy. I think it took Jonathan like an hour to shoot the full Atmos and stereo on it.
Wow.
Nice.
So
Dude, that's
yeah,
amazing. I'm a sucker for a good user interface.
yeah, it's got one.
What
And I
do you
mean,
use, Nico?
So I was using the Focusrite as an Atmos setup, and not gonna lie, it's pretty complicated. I ended up using Sphere as like a digital monitor controller for the Atmos, and SonarWorks to tune it. So it was
Okay.
actually pretty cool. It wasn't that hard. You just got to know what you're doing. My gripe about the Focusrite stuff was just the stability on the Dante side of things. It was just very much like you got to learn how to rub it just right, and it's like that's not one more thing I want to use in my studio. So I'm on the Arturia stuff now. Arturia Audio Fuse is amazing, and it also has that capabilities. So yeah, big
Nice.
shout out to Arturia, and their converters are super clean. It's the AKM chips, so it's like, all right, cool. I heard them and I was like, I want to say that they're not as good, but they sound identical to what I had before. So I was on a Motu with the same AKM chips for a while.
Yeah.
So I was like, I wanted to hate on it, when you want to like not like something, but it was that good. So
It does
put
what
it in the
gets it
workflow.
done. It gets the job done.
Yeah.
It's funny. Interfaces are very much an A/B necessary thing. Like you got to have both next to each other and switch back and forth. I had a buddy bring a Lynx Hilo into my studio once and I compared it to the interface I was using, the 2 channel.
Yeah.
Man, I bought it. I bought it on the spot. I just got on Sweetwater and just bought it because it
Way
was such an upgrade.
way better
You
than the
know,
2 channel.
no, that's what I'm saying. So he brought a 2 channel Hilo, and it was
Okay,
the Hilo one. So it was a few years back,
got you.
and what I was using a different 2 channel interface, and we compared them because it had the same cables. We just swapped them, did 2 prints, and just that comparison, it was like, why am I even using this thing? And then I just bought the other one right away. It was that much of a difference. Like anyone would be able to hear it. And then other times you compare 2 interfaces and it's very minuscule the difference. So it's
Right.
just one of those things. It's like, yeah, you really got to worry about the song, but if you have time and budget to worry about this kind of stuff, every little bit is an increment to better fidelity and making your job easier, less EQing, less processing, you know.
I heard the Matrix is really good too,
Oh yeah,
but I
yeah.
don't know anyone that actually works on it.
And
Man,
Matrix.
oh
I
yeah,
have the Matrix Studio.
Oh, the
Yeah.
Matrix. The Matrix is cool. It's a grip. It's a grip.
yeah,
You gotta have
it's a huge grip.
the funding. So it's like what, 6 to 8K for the chassis and 6 to 8K for every 8
8
channels
models, right?
that you want to
Wow.
add. So like
Gotta
what,
have
it's
that
like
bank.
one each module. It's like PCIe cards in their interface almost. It's not, but it's like if you would, and each little module is 8 channels, right? And it's like $8,000 for every module. So it's 1,000 a channel. If you want 32 channels,
Jeez.
that's do the math plus the 8,000 for the interface. So it's $40,000 for a 32 channel.
Well, most of those are in the film world, I suspect, so
Yeah,
they can afford it.
Right.
yeah. And
Dude,
some of the big studios.
have you guys ever used the RME Babyface? Have you guys seen that interface?
Always heard
No,
about it. Always heard it was
It's
really good.
it's incredible, man, and it's been around for years. Shout out to T minus. I saw I worked with T minus a few months back, and he was still using a Babyface, and it's like beat up and the paint's rubbed off and everything, and it just still sounds incredible, man.
Yeah.
I
That's
heard
good.
And
I
it.
remember when
the
the
chips
little
in.
Apogee duet sounded really good when it first
Yeah,
came out. And I
yeah,
was
the
like,
duets are good.
dude, that thing goes in your pocket and it sounds really good.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Uh,
We haven't done that in a while. Like the closest we got to like pocket size interface was the Arrow, and I'm not exactly sure how that stacks up. I know the input, I'm sure you get like one preamp and cool, but I'm not sure how like the output transformers are on that thing. It's funny.
Right. Yeah. That and the Volt.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, any new gear in the plugin world? What do you guys got?
oh, Control Hub. I've been messing with Control Hub. That thing by STL Tones. And you literally can sweep your analog gear and then create a preset of how it was in that moment. And then they have adjustments on the bottom, like, EQ and compression and drive to take it further. But you can take basically, like, I can send it through my BA6A and push the tubes and capture that pushed tube, however that frequency curve is. And then I have that as kind of a plugin now. So if, like, I pull up a vocal and I hear, oh, that would sound good when I push the tubes on BA6A, I can throw Control Hub on it and it has that sound, So it's very interesting. I'm still getting into it, but it's really cool.
That's sick, dude. I like that. It's almost like,
Yeah,
yeah, most responsive anything. You can put plugins through it. You can put
right,
anything.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
That's
So I did
sick.
my oven. I did a couple of my favorite settings on the oven. I did that, and it's like, okay, well, now instead of tracking the oven 2 or 3 times on some sounds that are buried in the mix, I can just throw Control Hub on those and save the hardware for the one important sound.
Right.
That's
And
cool.
even like a whole vocal chain or like a whole like I don't know about a mix bus. It's a little risky, but just like a couple of things in a row or like your plug-in chain. Like that's just for the bedroom producer. It's like you can put your whole vocal chain through it, and then boom, you have your whole vocal chain on
And
one.
apparently, I haven't tried any yet, but there's a bunch of engineers on there with their chains and stuff. So you're getting all their stuff now. So even if
That's
you don't
Yeah,
have
yeah,
your
yeah.
own gear.
Lou Diaz is on there, Marcella, a bunch of
Oh,
people
okay,
on
yeah,
there.
yeah.
nice.
It's fire. I
Good
like the
stuff.
there's like a transient designer built in. I like that. There's like you can
Oh,
switch
okay,
tube and like different microphone like pre's and stuff. It's pretty cool.
yeah, nice. Um, what other stuff is coming out? I
So
know Ozone
this out.
Ozone 12 is out. I haven't tried it, but
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
Jeez.
just
haven't, I
saw that.
haven't, I haven't downloaded it yet. But check this out. Everybody knows FabFilter Timeless, right? Timeless 2. You're like, yeah, where are you going with this? It's like nobody uses it. It's a cluster. But check this out. They just came out with Timeless 3. And it's so simple. It's like they kind of like redesigned the whole thing, and it's like it's like my new favorite delay. I have a lot of favorite delays. Shout out
huh,
MkDSP. Shout out, of course, everybody knows H delay, whatever. But like it's H delay simple. It's like that simple. Like you open it up,
nice.
and it's like super simple. It has like the first thing you see is like the the taps, so to speak. So you have like a big bar, a smaller bar, a smaller bar, and a smaller bar. And then like if you raise the feedback, all the
Yeah.
little bars kind of start getting bigger, right?
That's like that logic delay. Space designer or something like that.
It's
It was
kind of
got
like that, but
famous.
that's just like one quick little view, right?
Yeah.
And then right below it, you got five little knobs, almost like a RC20, where you have like drive, a little bit of compression. You got like a lo-fi. You got a pitch where you can pitch shift real quick. Um, like a bunch of cool like built-in good utility things, right? And then the other thing is you can do multi-tap, so you just hit like right in that little diagram that I was telling you about. You hit like the tap button or whatever buttons up there, and it does like the multi-tap, so you can draw in your delays by tap, by on the 16th note grid or whatever. And it's super quick. That's what I'm saying. It was like super quick. Till I was like, oh boy, I gotta figure this one out. But it was like, wait a minute, this is super easy. I don't know why I was scared of it. And it's like I started reading about it, and it's like, yeah, it's all redesigned. Like we heard your complaints, and we know it's like a brain buster. So we decided to like and it's like nobody's talking about that. Everyone's like, yo, Pro Q4, which is amazing. I've been learning a lot about Pro Q4, and it's like, yo, this is seriously sick. There's a few upgrades that we're like, oh yeah, everyone's talking about the smart dynamic mode or whatever, but there's like other things like sidechain where you can sidechain a different frequency key input of that same. Anyways, that's a whole nother subject, but the timeless joint was going crazy. And then of course, like this is where they're like, their crazy part was like made it way too complicated, but they made it kind of simple. So you can like at the bottom, there's modules like an envelope or, you know, like wobbles and stuff like that. And you can like grab that and stretch it to like the pitch or whatever, like knob to like modulate each knob, right? So you have like an LFO basically built in, and all you got to do is you're literally grabbing and patching to each knob, you know what I mean, or whatever you want. And so they've got some cool effects built into it, and which I think again the way the interface was set, it's kind of the same delay as it was. They didn't really change too much. They just changed the GUI, right? Essentially, of course they updated a few things with some like the drive modules and stuff like that, but it was really more about how it was presented, I think, and like everything. The GUI is like super simple to look at and figure out without needing a manual. And that's really like where Timeless 2 was hurting at. So now Timeless 3 is like, yo, this is like very powerful, very quick. Before it was like, this is powerful, but I need to like spend a day, and we never end up spending that day learning it, right? So it's like, but yeah, that one really impressed me lately. Once I really dug into it, I was like, yo, I'm gonna start using this. So
Does it have noise built in as soon as you as soon as you put on the first instance? Is there just like noise going?
That's why I reach for H delay.
yeah, I was like, you caught me off guard. I was like, FabFilter is like the opposite of that. But I was like, I was like, damn, did I miss the noise module?
Valhalla has it too on.
Yeah, it does on their vintage Verb. Yeah. But it depends, you know, it depends on the flavor, like the room that you use at the bottom.
Right. If it's green, it's gonna have that crazy
any of like the more vintage rooms that says like 80s space or like any like vintage type room has that noise, and they have different levels. I could be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure they have different amounts, levels, and even like frequency of noise.
But apparently that pink noise or that white noise kind of helps your effects cut through the mix, doesn't it? Have you guys heard that?
I would say it's
especially on H delay.
I don't know.
I would say
it makes it sound like the ocean.
I would say it's more about the smearing.
Gives you beach vibes.
Right? Like it's more about smearing a delay together to sound like a reverb.
Yeah.
Right? Because if it's a delay, you hear the chops and then your brain goes into like it's a delay. If you smooth it and smear it, it's more a reverb. That's why we put reverbs on our delays or whatever to kind of smooth that and trick the brain. So I think that's why they have the noise in that, right? Yeah. Now, Waves puts noise on everything. It's like Louisiana. They're Louisiana. They probably like one of their engineers is like, man, I just saw this Louisiana hot sauce commercial, and I think I got an idea for this noise switch.
I'm not mad at noise, but I just wanted to be able to turn it off. You know, just
I would love it defaulted off.
Facts.
Yeah.
Yes.
A modern problem we have now that a lot of guys mixing in stereo don't realize is when you have an aux return with something that has noise like a Valhalla preset when it's not on like Concert Hall or the H delay with the noise, is if that aux is open and you print 40 stems of that noise, you now have that noise multiplied by 40 in your Atmos mix. So you have to be really, really careful with things that just hiss, you know.
You know, lately, I've been, I don't know. Dave's always like, man, leave it. You clean it up too much. Like, I like the sound of the other. Like Ken was saying, this, that, and the other. But I've been a stickler for hunting, especially if you happen to have something on your master bus that has a spectrograph, or like if you ever put a Pro Q, I don't usually use Pro Q on the master, but if you ever happen to put Pro Q on the master because you want to just take care of something, and that little guy is jumping down there at the bottom, that just bothers me, right? So
Jumping.
like it led me down a wild goose hunt, wild goose chase, or whatever you want to call it, of hunting down all the things in my template that make noise. So I'll either put a gate on it, or at least I will know. At least I know now who my culprits can be. Like it's one of my. I'm not gonna. I like you guys. I'm gonna keep you guys there. But I'll default it to mute it, and then I'll unmute it when I need it, or whatever, just to clean up, because it just ends up driving me crazy. You'll start compressing stuff, and you're like, "Where's my head?"
I learned that the hard way, man. And I like to mix low, so like I'll have it pretty low, and sometimes you'll miss that if you're pretty low, And I had a client that he had some nice Amphions, I think, and they're pretty bright and crisp, and he'd hear it all every time. He just, hey man, there's some high end eerie hiss, and I'm like, dude, And when I crank it, sure, if it's there, I'll put a EQ on the master, like you said, Nico, and you'll see it jumping, and then you just gotta hunt it down. But yeah, good old noise on the default.
Yeah, I mean, like we're saying, there's nothing wrong with noise, but when it adds up like the bills.
And please be able to take it off, because like I think for CLA effects or CLA vocals, one of those, it's just in there. It's just like baked in there.
And then check this out. So you put CLA on several tracks, and then you put a master limiter or whatever on your master, and all that noise gets like just literally raise the roof with the noise. Like you got
even
more
like
noise.
Plugin Alliance had to get in on the action. I don't know what else might have it, but the AMEK EQs and Plugin Alliance default to noise.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm listening to my final before I print it, and I'm like, where the fuck is all this noise coming from?
The Lindell stuff also.
Hey, plugin manufacturers, turn the fucking noise off default. Let us add it back if we want it.
Yeah.
God, the number of records that have been ruined by that shit is just ridiculous.
Is that the
anything but noise? Like, label it what it is. Call it noise.
Right, noise. It's not analog. It's noise.
Like, it's noise.
Is that the analog EQ 200 you're talking about?
Yes. Yeah. And the 250.
Okay.
I ended up having to not use that on my mixes because I was just like, is it really better? Is it worth it? Is it, because it's just a different vibe. It glues, it hits the compressor different. It just kind of like when you don't have that noise, especially when it's on a master. And I'm just like, it's just the noise tricking my ears. I just had to get rid of it completely.
Yeah.
And I would inherit it more than anything, and I want to respect it and blah blah blah, and it's like, man, I'll find a better way to get a better sound.
I don't know.
Not it.
I don't know if you guys experienced this, but CLA effects and CLA vocals is one of the most requested. Like I've had people request as I'm mixing. They're like, "Hey, man, can you?" I'm telling you,
that has never happened to me once.
Very specifically request for these plugins, and I'm like, okay, sure, but you're gonna have some hiss in there, you're gonna have a little extra sizzle, you know what I mean? And
again, what's good about that is like
I'll just gate it.
Two things. One, I'll give y'all the sauce. I'm gonna give y'all some sauce right now. Y'all take notes. Boz Digital Labs, the wall.
Yep.
So that's basically the wall setting on the CLA vocals. And you could also, so it has like a slider at the bottom. You can go smooth or aggressive, and that's like the type of limiting that it's doing, or compression.
Are you talking about for like the compressor, the push and the bite and the?
Yes.
The compressor is good. I'm not gonna lie.
And because there's also, I don't know if it's the whole thing or if it's certain modules in CLA that have noise. Mm-hmm. And it's like everything else you can replicate. Other than that, like mainly the main sound of CLA that I can't redo is either the spreader or the compressor. Like everything else is like I can replicate that. So when I need to use it, or when I really want that CLA sound or that vocal, that glue that client's used to that sound, I'll put the wall on it. when I'm trying to clean up any of that noise. If I really, like I said, if I can't afford to have the CLAs, just too much noise in the mix, I need to start removing CLAs as much as I can. Replace them with the wall, and it's like, yo, it's mad. It's the same thing with no noise. It's like,
Yeah.
yes, bro.
Yeah.
Yes. So
No, I just like to build. I'll build my own. Like I'll do or effects rack or AllComp or any plugins that just like have like a bunch of sauce built in.
So the EQ of CLA vocals is the Puig Tech. So
It's the what?
The Puig Tech. Remember the Puig Tech?
Oh, okay,
The
yeah,
Jack
yeah, yeah.
Joseph, the Pull
Yeah.
Tech.
Yeah.
So when you do top, that's 10K on the Puig Tech from a kind of reliable source.
What?
there you go.
Did
I
not
mean, it
know.
makes sense. It makes sense, especially back when these things were made. They didn't have a ton of either need or just like ability to create 100 plugins like we do now. It's like we got to reuse this code. Like coding is expensive. I
Sure.
got to pay these guys and da 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 da. So
Yeah, it makes sense.
a lot
Yeah,
of
sure.
stuff, especially within their companies. Like how do we come out with new plugins and kind of just reuse the code that we have.
For sure.
There's
What else?
some plugins where the code should just never change. They're just pretty good. I think lo-fi, for some reason, something about lo-fi,
Yeah.
it just does it like for what it needs to do, and you don't need to use much. And it's just like I've seen people put that on so many different things, kicks, vocals, anything, bass.
Yeah, lo-fi is the shiz, and that saturation situation. It's just so much. It's like an EQ, saturation, and noise. Our favorite thing.
Yeah.
But what else? What else is the sauce? How's the new? Anyone on the new latest OS, latest Pro Tools, latest ARA integrations?
I always stay about a year behind, so I'm watching all these chat groups of people having problems, and I'm just over here like,
Yeah.
yep, everything's smooth over here.
Yeah.
Right.
Auto-tune's wacky right now, I guess.
Auto-tune, the new vocal prep on Auto-tune. Oh, Bob, we already talked about it. I
Yeah.
won't say it again. Bob already
No,
just
it's sick.
smashed that one out of the
Yeah,
park.
that's really good.
Yeah,
That is impressive.
What else?
Vocal
What else we
prep
got?
Fire, Noiseworks. We spoke about that. That's fire.
I'm trying to think of other plugins that have come out recently.
I got this limiter that someone sent me. It's supposed to be really well, but I haven't tried it yet. And they were just working on like getting the pace licensing for Pro Tools. So he just sent it to me. I'm gonna check it out. It's called the AL1 mastering limiter. But as soon as I try it out, I'll let you guys know. It's pretty simple, and but heard great things about it.
Is Meld out? How's the Meld thing coming on?
Oh yeah, I wanted to ask. Is anyone else using Meld?
No.
No, it's
not out yet.
I should give it a chance. I just haven't given it a chance yet, but I mean,
I like it a lot.
What does it do again?
Well, it's.
Go ahead.
Sorry,
Bob.
go ahead, Fareed. You might explain it better.
No, it has real simple. It has like multiple groups in it. So you have group A, B, C, D, E, or I guess you could.
So you can have one window and be like kick, adjust that, jump to the bass, adjust that, jump back to the kick without changing plugins.
Yeah, and you can group like multiple tracks or objects.
Right.
So it kind of helps you. If you wanted to like do limiting and just kind of like.
Definitely overall. A good thing for Atmos. Yeah.
Yo, that actually reminded me. I'm gonna segue into the Pro Q4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So everybody knows the Pro Q4 is basically the same thing, but now they're like spectral, whatever, Sooth 2 type. But like, there's so much more. Like,
I didn't even know that I have Pro Q4. I didn't know they have the whole Sooth.
That's like the latest or the biggest news is that it's like a spectral, so it's not like you tell it like, hey, this area, but it's only gonna actually compress like your little your resonances. So that's cool. That's one thing. The other thing that is just next level is, man, there's a lot. I just lost my train of thought, but it's like, man, there's a lot. I could literally just like talk about anything and it'll just come back. But like there's a little bit of
I'll get
saturation.
I'll get my two irks out of the way that I don't like.
Talk about it.
Is on the shelves, it looks like, at least visually, it looks like they changed the knee of the slope of the shelf, and it's steeper. As for default, of course you can adjust it, but that just irked me as soon as I started using that. It's like, give me Pro Q3's, slope of the shelf.
Right.
And then the other thing is the spectrum analyzer shows like 10 hertz on every sound. It's like 10 hertz is just ginormous, and I'm like, and then I'll put on Pro Q3 and it's not like that. It's like, okay, so this is just a visual thing.
Oh damn.
But it's
weird.
like, I just don't want to see it. It makes me want to filter everything, which
Yeah.
I don't believe in doing.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't get that low spike, but actually you reminded me of what I wanted to say. So it's got cool stuff we'll talk about later. But the one thing that I really liked was that every Pro Q instance that you have on any Pro Q, you can open up a tab where all your other instances are open,
Right.
and you get the red bars, like the red clash area between everything, like literally everything.
Sick.
So like
That's
you
fire.
can also like you can pin them, so you can choose like kick, bass, and whatever vocal, and pin them, and it'll just kind of hide everything else and bring them all up to the top, or bring them up to the top, or do whatever. And then you can just like make moves. Like you can have like all of your Pro Qs. Let's say like you have kick, bass, vocals, guitars. You have like not hundreds, but whatever, dozens of them. You can literally just grab them and like start making EQ points on all of them. Like I don't really mix like that, but it's like cool. You can literally, when you see like the red bar, like
conflicting,
whatever, you can be like, okay, so a little bit of here, a little bit of there.
Yeah.
You can just literally just right in that window. And it's like, what?
They have the draw now too. You can like literally draw your curve, which is a little extra. I haven't found it really useful, but it's kind of cool that it exists.
The only thing I was able to do with that is go like this.
Right. I would say with plugins that do that, just a little heads up for like the younger community or like the more beginner engineers, mixers. Like a lot of the resonance, some things that look like resonance or peaks in your waveform are actually harmonics. They're good harmonics that you don't want to take away.
Yeah.
Or root notes,
or
even.
root
Like
note.
I always talk about going after like the 250 to 500 resonances, and that kind of cleans up, but it's not all of them. It's not 27 of them.
Right.
It's like one or two. there's like 7 or 20 more that are like still bumping. You got to A/B and make sure it's not killing the vibe on every little resonance, little dip that you make. It's funny because I was talking to Jimmy Douglas about this not too long ago. He's like, I get these sessions with like 27 little spikes down like this, and I'm like, yo, who taught these?
It's the comb. It's the comb. It's the comb method. Yeah.
So it's like it doesn't sound like. So I get why you're doing it, and I do it as well. But like, first of all, once I get to like 5 of them, like I started making rules because I started A/Bing the whole plugin, and I was like, vibe kill, done. Like I'm going backwards. I'm gonna get fired, whatever. So I was like, okay, let me A/B one at a time, and then I was like, still I couldn't, right? So like I started making rules. I was like, okay, nothing below 250, nothing above 500. If you get to like 5 or 6 points, that's like the very max. And even still, like, be very discerning about which ones you really want to keep and which ones are actually doing the heavy lifting. And when you bring it down extra, how is it really affecting the vocal? Is that the actual root note that you're trying to control, right? Like either up or come down. And then I was also talking to Ray Maxwell from music marketing and Instafesta and stuff, and he's got this philosophy about using Pro Q with the keyboard mode in the notes, and he's like, the middle C, not middle A, but middle C. You're like, what is middle C? And you're like, oh, it's like 256 hertz. And you're like, what? But it's like most people dance around middle C, like, and they. So, anyways, those little resonances are the roots of, so like you got like 250, and then let's say then he was talking about you go a third and a fifth.
Right.
What is that? Whatever that may be. Like again, you use the piano roll on the FabFilter to find the third and the fifth, and he's like, you can bring presence or mud up and down, and I was like, I didn't really think about it like that, but I'll try it.
Yeah.
Man, if my ears don't tell me, I am not touching it.
Well,
Right.
Ken, you're a
Yeah.
musician, so
Well, yeah.
you're tuned already. You know, low key, you have that perfect pitch that's kind of built in there already. Where
Whether it's learned or not, you have perfect pitch. So
Well, I
You
mean,
just got to be
still,
careful.
it's it's not like I just don't think so technically when I mix.
yeah,
And I don't fix things that I don't hear as problems. And I just don't rely on like metering and
or
things like
visuals.
that,
Too many
or visuals. As little as possible, I rely on visuals. When I'm really struggling with something and I just can't find it, then maybe I'll reach for something more visual. But personally, for me, if my ears aren't locking into what the problem is and I can't go find it based on my ears, then that's the only way I'd almost ever do things. I try and keep the simplest tools and the simplest workflow and the least amount of thought towards the technical that I possibly can, and just always just try and stay focused on what the fucking music is telling me to do and only do that. So
Yeah,
and it's been
if you
working.
go searching for a problem, you will find
it's been
one.
working.
Oh,
Exactly.
And
That is
1,000%.
exactly true, Bob. If you go
you know,
searching for a problem, you will find a problem. You'll find
and
something that your tools can fix.
if you EQ all those little tiny bands, you're gonna remove the music. It's like one wide band in that same area instead of those six
Right.
that are,
It's more
you know,
musical.
just dip that out, and it's the same thing
Yeah,
musically,
more musical. Yeah.
And then a lot of people they don't move their faders. It's like everything is gain, whether it's compression,
Balances.
EQ, you know. So when you do an EQ move the fader to compensate,
Yeah.
because if you don't, you're fooling your ears.
Right.
Well,
Totally.
and build your balances before you do anything else. I
Right.
mean, I
Sure.
think 80% of a great mix is striking great balances, and if you do that first, you have to do so much less compression and EQ, and
Yeah.
you know, um, and
That's like
just
the first semester at Berkeley. I'm sure you remember, like they wouldn't let us do anything except faders and pans for like a few weeks. Like, don't touch those EQs. Don't worry about
I
anything
love
else.
that. That's
Faders and
awesome.
pans, turn in your
It's
mix.
it's like the Neve board that we have here at Criteria. I always forget the model, but you know the old school one with the blue caps on the knobs.
Oh, 80, 78 or 68 or
Yeah,
one.
one of those, and it has no compression, no dynamics
Right.
whatsoever.
Right.
So you just got you're on your own, man. Like, and it has no automation
and
either. So
and no surgical EQ. It's all just
right,
broad musical
yep,
EQ
clicks,
bands,
yep.
and that's the shit
No,
that's most sought after by guys like us. Is like,
It sounds
you know,
incredible. Like it just
no
sounds
bandwidth
great.
on the mids, no Q.
right,
You know,
right.
just preset. Oh, one tip on the Pro Q4 before I forget, just so people know, when you engage that spectral mode, even if you're in zero latency, you're automatically in linear phase mode. So just so
yeah,
people know,
Ah,
yeah.
that's
Don't
why
try
you can't
on
do a
tracking
tracking session
vocals.
with the spectral on. It doesn't work.
Yeah, it automatically goes to linear and medium, I believe,
Oh, okay.
something like that, which is like pretty heavy.
that's
Yeah,
cool.
Pretty heavy processing. Just like
amazing
Sue, might
plugin
even
though.
be heavier. I was looking at it when you go into spectrum mode. It's like 5,000 samples of latency.
No,
It's like a lot.
Yeah,
And then
that's a
somebody
lot.
was like, "Oh, what about Suit? They're like way less, And I put them side to side, and I was like, yeah, it's like 2,000. So definitely keep an eye on that. But
So I know this might be some controversy, but I mean, who between Kirchhoff and ProQ, what's well, not ProQ4 because Kirchhoff doesn't have a new version out yet, but ProQ3 and Kirchhoff. What's your take?
I'm just a FabFilter supporter. It's I've been used to it.
Yeah,
I've tried the Kirchhoff. I have people tell him like, no, you got to use a Kirchhoff. It's better. He's like,
Yeah,
I'm just gonna use what I use, man. Don't worry about it.
right.
Yeah.
Don't force it on me. Like Jesus.
Yeah, same
Nico,
here.
you yeah,
FabFilter's been so smooth
yeah,
for me. It's like it gives you what you want every time. It's almost like a lot of the guys that still use the old wave stuff.
right.
And it's like, but there's so many other cool compressors out with all these fancy knobs and limiters, and it's like, yeah,
If
but
it's not
this,
broke, don't fix it.
but I know this, I know how this waves thing is gonna react when I spank it just this way or that way, or when I want a certain tool. So it's like, we
Arvox.
right, we all reach for that tool for that certain thing.
Yeah.
So
Full
Fab
time.
filter is pretty hard to replace.
Yeah.
I haven't
And
been able to jump. I want to.
Ken,
What
I
about
think
you? Are you?
on mixing night, Ken, you showed one thing I really liked was R-DeEsser. Great use for R-DeEsser, which is like other staple from Waves. Is controlling the mid range on your vocals
Right.
instead of just using it as a
Notch.
de-esser. Right.
Right. Notch de-essing to get like all the all of that stuff that really sits between like 3 and 5K and doesn't sit up top.
Yeah.
And if you've got the wrong vocalist or they use the wrong microphone and you can't control that stuff, it just kills your ears
Absolutely.
to listen to. But yeah, what you're talking about is instead of going the high end control on the de-esser, you go into a notch de-esser, which kind of looks like that, and then it's got a sidechain detector, so you can listen on your sidechain detector and listen
Sweep
through
it.
to where you can sweep the frequency of the sidechain detector until you find where that is the harshest, which I usually find between 3 and 5K, and I'll just center it on the harshest area, and then go back to listen, and then I'll just set it by ear so that I'm not reducing so much that it's not musical anymore, but it just controls that like bite of the mid range of the vocal sibilances. And yeah, that's been a game changer. And like for me,
Cool.
I've never used another de-esser other than Waves R de-esser. I might use two or three of them on one
Right.
vocal
Right.
in different ways to control different areas.
No, I've seen
But
that many
that's
times.
yeah,
Right.
but that's always just been my go-to de-esser. And but I just got the Applesoft one, so I'm gonna give that a shot because everybody's been raving about it, and maybe I'm just missing things. But yeah, I'm
No, if it's
interested to
not
see what
broke,
that.
don't fix it, man. You already know
Yeah, that's kind of
right.
like so far. I think I'm pretty good at vocals, so
Yeah.
it's working for him.
Right.
And we
Totally.
all know Bob's take on de-essers.
Collect
They're
them
like
all.
they're like Pokemon.
Yeah. Gotta have them all.
Like
Yeah, but
Funkos.
Bob's got a big brain. He can figure all of this shit out. Us like small brain people, we gotta keep it a little bit more simple.
I
Fact.
collect them all and then I just end up using one or two. And I'm like, damn.
Same. I'm like Fareed. Yeah, I definitely I get hype, and then I go back to Creature of Habit,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah, I do that a lot.
like we're
Oh,
saying,
sorry, not to just jump in. I know we're almost running out of time. I had one really important question for the Atmos mixers. Um, I've been doing some Atmos mixing recently, so I do realize you got target volumes for all platforms, right? You got -18. This is the target that you're supposed to hit for Atmos when you're turning it in, right? But when you sum down a binaural, it's a little higher, it's a little louder. Are you guys familiar with that? And also, I feel like the stuff I'm hearing on Tidal and Apple Music is louder than -18, -16. Like, I don't know what anyone's take.
That's a Ken question.
There's mastering ways to cheat the system on a full album.
Ah,
And yeah, so that I
oh, that
believe that
that makes sense.
I believe this is correct. I'm not 100% sure about this, but if you are mastering a whole album, Jonathan would know this stuff. Jonathan Garcia is he's my guy here, and he's a brilliant Atmos mastering engineer. If anybody needs one out
yeah,
there,
Oh, okay.
chat.
but if it's based on overall LUFS, So if you can make one song on the record or two songs on the record noticeably quieter, you can get your single louder. Because it ranks the entire album, not just the single.
Cheat
But
code.
if you're just putting out a single, then you might pick a section of your song, like the bridge, and make the bridge really quiet.
Right.
And that will give you more room to make, because it's an overall lufs from
Right.
start to finish
Integrated.
of the entire song. It's
Yeah.
not a momentary thing.
Right.
So yeah, if you have a really quiet intro or a really quiet outro or something like that, then you can get your choruses louder.
Got it, man. That makes sense.
Very cool.
Even furthering the way we make music, we were already kind of doing that for Lufs, right? Like for Spotify and whatever, kind of trying to figure out
I'm not
how to keep the song dynamic. Well, a few years ago, I think like pre-COVID, when we were still like trying to figure out the Spotify wave, it was like intro lengths were changing and people, everything was kind of just changing.
They're like doing away with intros altogether now.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things people were realizing is that you can get your track louder if you find a few places in the song to, be quieter.
Right. You get a better loudness range too, right? Like you get.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could be just making that up because it was more about the penalty when people cared about the penalty for like 6 months.
Well, the thing about Spotify is you can turn that function off, and then it just plays your mix as is.
That's what people cared about, that being default on consumers. Like, we actually cared about it, but after 6 months, we were all like, man, we don't care about that.
Well, I swear, I don't know if it's the Mandela effect or what, or maybe I'm just getting old, but I promise you that you didn't have that option always to be able to switch the normalization on and off.
Right. No.
Like that was recently added, maybe like 2-3 years ago, maybe, or COVID. I don't know, but it wasn't always there.
It was always there. It was always there. It just wasn't talked about.
Got you.
It was like a hidden feature that only people in the industry knew to look for, because we were actually using it to reference, I don't know, whatever, warm our ears up or reference music or whatever.
Turn that shit off.
Yeah, I do.
Turn that shit off.
Besides the fact that it was 320 whatever, it was also being limited. It's like, why? But it was also like, why is my mix? I think it stemmed from, why is my mix sound different on Spotify?
Or not only that, like if your lufser, if your mix is a little hotter, it's gonna normalize it low. Like it changes how it normalizes it. So that's why you're not gonna actually hear the true. You're not gonna perceive.
I think it really just stemmed from like mixes were coming out complete. Maybe they also changed the algorithm a little bit.
It's more like moving a fader. It's not like it compresses. It just gives you it analyzes your overall lufs, and then it turns the entire thing up or down just like a fader. It's not like
it's like a dB. There's a dB correlation also. I forgot how much dB it is, but there's like a correlation to where you'll get knocked down a certain amount of dB if you're at
I think it has to do a little, like what you said, Fareed, is like they've been, this is my hunch, but they've been low-key changing the algorithm behind the scene because everyone got upset, because everyone has a different algorithm, everyone has a different compression. I mean, maybe like you're saying, Ken, but like YouTube sounds completely different than Spotify, sounds completely different than so on and so forth. So there has to be some sort of compression algorithm in there, whether you
I think YouTube sounds the worst just because of the encoding.
Yeah, they all have different encoding.
Correct.
But you know what I think blew it off the lid, man, was Instagram, or like, I don't know, I'm not familiar with TikTok's volume, but Instagram, the volume's just whatever it is, like no normalization. So most people are on Instagram, they play a song on there and they're like, why is this so much louder than Spotify? And then you go to the Reddit and it's like, oh, turn the normalization off or whatever, I kind of think that's where it
and then Instagram also, in that time frame, like a few years ago, they would sum everything to mono. So you're at 0.0 whatever, negative 0.1, and you sum to mono, you'd be at plus 3, and you'd be like, "Why is my video clipped out? This is like the mix."
Oh, that
Like,
makes sense.
so you got to just stay up to date on everything, which is hard to do, but it's just another thing to stay up to date. It's what keeps you ahead of the pack, baby.
Yeah, that's what AI is for, right? Give us that extra
Make our
insight.
coffee. Well, without further ado, let's wrap this one up. It's been an amazing episode. Tons of information, knowledge in a very short amount of time. Gems dropped. Minds blown. I appreciate you guys very, very much. Thank you for showing up, bringing the knowledge, sharing your secrets, and keeping us up to date. Big shout out to our sponsors. Big shout out to everyone that helps us keep the lights on and make amazing music every day. We're blessed and thankful. So thank you guys. Tune in on the next one. We will see you guys later.
Don't forget to share, comment, like, and subscribe. And see you next time on Faders of the Lost Art.